Is Jon Jones going to be actually stripped of his belt? Is Dana White really going to make this fight happen? What happens if Jon Jones is stripped of the belt? The intro is back. We're back. Come on. New camera. Yeah, we'll get into it. I have a mic ordered as well. Let's get into this. So, as you can see on screen here, we have Jon Jones going on Twitter talking about how he's made it very clear to the UFC that his plans are, let's be honest here, his plans are just to give up the belt. He wants absolutely nothing to do with Big Tom Aspinall. We've known this for quite a few months now. And it's getting a bit ridiculous at this stage. When are we just going to say, like, okay, this dude clearly wants nothing to do with Aspinall, let's just strip him of the belt? The real question a lot of people will say is, okay, so what do you do if, let's say you strip Jon Jones? There's kind of two options. A, you do this. It's obviously not option number one, but if Jon Jones gets stripped of the belt, then it's going to become option number one. Okay, I don't really want to see this fight. I don't think anyone really wants to see this fight, but it's going to be the fight that happens next, unfortunately. Or you just do a Robert Whittaker on it. You just make Tom Aspinall the undisputed champion. There's not one single person on this planet who isn't a Jon Jones fanboy and isn't deluded that this dude is a steroid cheat and is never the GOAT of the sport, will say, oh, well, Tom Aspinall, he'd never beat Jones. He's not the real champion. No one who actually follows the sport, no one who knows what they're talking about is ever going to say that. Okay, it's just not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. Okay, the Cyril Gane matchup, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I think that's quite a common opinion that people just don't want to see that matchup. It's stylistically a good matchup, though. You know what I mean? I'm not entirely mad at the matchup. It's definitely going to be next. Like, it's definitely number one on the priority list if Jon Jones is stripped of the belt. Or I should probably say at this stage when Jon Jones is stripped of the belt, because realistically they're not gonna make this fight. The way he's been going, and especially when I saw these tweets, that's when I was like, okay, this fight's just not gonna happen. This dude has no interest. He says he's made. Honestly, I made a TikTok about this. Okay, if y'all remember this photo, this was the good old I'm meeting with Khabib dinner conversation Dana White used to have. That was literally just a way of stalling out and giving fans a little bit of hope of maybe Khabib might come back and we might get the McGregor rematch if he beats Poirier in the trilogy. That was kind of the narrative surrounding this, but it quickly turned into the case of just this dude just ain't coming back. And he literally said he's not coming back, but Dana kind of like held out hope. But I honestly think this is quite a similar scenario. I genuinely do. I honestly think just like, we don't need you to delay it. Just say you're not coming back. Say to the UFC, and if you have said to the UFC, just give up the belt. He still has the belt. So there is a little bit of like, John says, oh, I'm retired and all, but there is a bit of that, of a thing of like, let me hold on to the belt just in case they offer me the money I just cannot turn down. I honestly think that's Jones' strategy here. I feel like he's like, oh, I don't want to fight, you know, like, it's okay. But if they offer him that money, then he will fight. It's good bargaining, and it's good marketing on Jon Jones' behalf, even though I really don't like Jon Jones. I think he's a terrible human being. It's smart. This is the best way for him to get business. Okay, and at the end of the day, they're printing money. That's what they want to do. Like, you have to. If they give him 30 million, I can honestly see him saying, oh, well, I want 40, 50. He'll keep going. He'll get as much as he can, okay? And he'll try stall this out to MSG in November. But then again, let's say they stall out to MSG in November. The first Stipe fight would have been originally booked 2 years ago. Tom Aspinall will be an interim champion 2 years. He's already an interim champion a year and a half. It's just holding up the whole division. Now, we are in a fortunate situation where welterweight's kind of got like a load of contenders, but heavyweight doesn't really have any contenders. Like, Cyril Gane is there. Curtis Blades is kind of there. Volkov just got robbed. Pavlovich is on a win. There's no real, like, oh, Tom versus this guy is clearly for the belt. There's no matchup like that. You know what I mean? There's Jaital Almeida, I don't think so, actually, because he lost Curtis Blades. But there isn't that, like, Tom versus this guy should be the fight to make. I don't think we really have that at the moment. Obviously, the kind of person in mind is Cyril Gane, but I think Cyril Gane winning the belt at any stage, especially against Tom Aspinall, is literally the worst case scenario out of this whole thing. Okay? This matchup with Gane versus Tom, if this actually does happen, Gane winning is literally the worst case scenario possible for the UFC. I honestly don't believe that there is a worse scenario that could happen for the way this thing plays out. The best case scenario is they book Tom versus Jon, and Tom starts them in the first round. Personally, I think the best case scenario. Maybe the UFC might be like, we want Jon to win, but no one really wants to see Jon win. Let's be honest here. But if Cyril Gane was able to go in there and beat Tom Aspinall, I honestly think that would literally be the worst case scenario possible in this whole thing. Because the UFC have a fake champion then. The hype for the Jon Jones Tom Aspinall thing is gone, and Jon just rides off into the sunset, beating Stipe Miocic and Cyril Gane. That's all. That's the only two fights he's won at heavyweight. He's really not fought the number one contender. And the whole Stipe thing is a joke, but the whole Dana White situation as well, like I talked about a little bit there with Khabib, he's fucking promoting Canelo versus Crawford. And we have a logjam in heavyweight of Jon Jones just not fighting. Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev just didn't get booked, unfortunately. I don't really think that's Dana's fault, but it didn't happen. You're making Makhachev relinquish his belt. You're making Ilia relinquish his belt, but Jon Jones can just hold on to it. There's no problem with Jon Jones having his belt. The rest of them have to give up their belt, even though Islam Makhachev has the most title defenses in UFC history in lightweight. In lightweight. I nearly forgot that part. In lightweight. But Ilia Topuria doesn't get the chance to move up and become a two-weight world champion. He has to relinquish his belt, even if he was never coming back in that division. You never gave him the opportunity. You're not giving Makhachev the opportunity to be a simultaneous double champ. And he tweeted that, I'm not relinquishing my belt. You clearly forced his hand here. You clearly said you either stay and fight Ilia or you go up and fight JDM, and there's no in between. But Jon Jones can do all this. He can pull out and be out for a year. No problem. We'll rebook you in Stipe and MSG. The fight no one asked for. I would just love Big Tom to absolutely crack him with a 1-2 down the pipe and lay him out once and for all. All the steroids this guy has done throughout his career, his whole legacy is a fucking fraud. No one will consider Lance Armstrong the GOAT because of his drug use. But people will say Jon Jones is the GOAT. People will dismiss TJ Dillashaw as the bantamweight GOAT because of his drug use. But for some reason, Jon Jones has 3 times more failed performance-enhancing drug tests than TJ Dillashaw, but the dude is still considered the GOAT of the sport. Where are we drawing the line? He wouldn't fight Francis Ngannou. The only cancelled UFC event in history is because of Jon Jones. He wouldn't take Chael Sonnen on short notice. He's getting events moved because he's failing steroid tests against Gustafsson. He's getting fights overturned against DC because he failed performance-enhancing drugs tests. And if you're calling me a hater here, everything I have just said is a fact. That he didn't fight Chael Sonnen and the event got cancelled. He got a no contest against Daniel Cormier because he failed the steroids test. His event got moved against Alexander Gustafsson because he failed the steroids test. The original DC fight, I believe, he failed steroids test after. He was meant to fight DC a second time. Didn't happen because he failed another drugs test. This is all just a fact. This is all just a fact. Before you Jon Jones fanboys go at me in the comment section, do your homework. Jon Jones was never the GOAT. He cannot be the GOAT. And he will never be the GOAT. Like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.